Hey gang, I am in Crandon, Wisconsin, back in Crandon, Wisconsin on a very quiet and peaceful summer's day. Yeah, I was here, well, I think a year ago, very sad story of Candace Warning. Her two daughters were murdered by a coward who still sits in prison. I'll put the link up if you want to go back if you haven't seen that. But I'm back here because I was alerted soon after doing that story that there was a horrible incident that happened here in 2007. 6 young people, some teenagers, one as young as 14 years old, lost their lives or were viciously murdered by a jealous, a terrible person. I'm going to tell you that story, and we're going to go to the grave of one of the victims, his girlfriend actually. Her name was Jordan Murray, and it took a while to get back here. I really wanted to remember them and visit the graves, and I wanted to tell the story. They're not forgotten. The name here, and the name is the perpetrator was a 20-year-old guy named Tyler James Peterson. And a terrible guy. Just well, we go back. He grew up here. I mean, all the kids grew up here. They all knew each other. Of course, it's a very tight-knit community, a beautiful town, Crandon. It's just hard to imagine that this type of violence had happened, and it just goes to show you this stuff, it happens everywhere. Because this is an amazing, beautiful little place. You got to come visit. And the cemetery here is Lakeside Cemetery is amazing. So, yeah. So it was 2007. So if you go back a couple of years, Tyler graduates from Crandon High School here. He's dating Jordan Murray. They've been dating for 4 years. In 2007, this would all start to come to a head because they would break up. Now before. He was working to become a police officer. He had started with the Forest County, this is Forest County, in Forest County, working to be a sheriff. I think he was working as a sheriff, and he was ultimately working to be a police officer here right in Crandon. He's working part-time, he's doing all this training, seemed like everything, a normal guy, and then finally achieved his goal in '06, about a year before this incident, of becoming a full-fledged police officer. And yeah, well, it was homecoming, October 7th of 2007. It was homecoming, right? And everyone was celebrating. So you have Jordan had just broken up, I think, a month or two before with Tyler, and she was dating someone else, and they were having a party at her house, and she had 6 of her friends. They were all the way down to a 14-year-old. It was just after 2 in the morning on the 7th, and you know, Tyler comes and he's in a jealous rage, and apparently, you know, he's banging on the door. She answers the door during the party, and they are arguing on the front porch, I guess, and she finally says, get the heck out of here, go away, and closes the door. Well, he went away, and he went and got his AR-15, and he had a big magazine, I think a 30-round clip, maybe 40, because ultimately I think 30 shots were fired. And he comes back, and there's going to be no arguments. He is going to unleashed. He kicks the door in and he just starts shooting. Now 3 of the kids were on the couch, on the couch there, and they're scrambling to get. They see him coming in and they're scrambling to hide, and he just opens up on them, kills them right there. Jordan is already to the kitchen, and I guess he hunts her down, shoots her down, kills her. So now he's killed 4, and there's 3 more left. And he finds one of them, one of the girls, and we'll talk about their names and all about them, but right in front of a closet. Kills her, shoots her down. and cowering inside the closet, hoping that she, was found refuge. But no, he opened the closet and then finished her off. So you got 6 down, and then you've got one of the boys, Charlie Neitzel was his name. He gets shot, and he's still alive, and he's begging for his life. I think he's shot in the leg. He's down, and he gets back up, and he's reaching, and he's like, please, please. And Tyler just coldly shoots him again. Didn't hit a vital. He goes down. The smart thing Charlie did is he played dead. And to finish him off, Tyler shot him a 3rd time. But I think it was the arm and the leg, and he didn't hit any vital organs, but a lot of damage. But Charlie just stayed still, and Tyler then fled. He fled out the door. He came out, and maybe someone, I don't know if it was 911 or what, but one of the police officers came, one of Greg, forget his last name, Tyler, friends, comes rolling up. He's like, there's Tyler, he's thinking to himself. And Tyler lifts up the AR and just starts spraying the windshield. Greg lays down, Greg Carter, and he puts it in reverse, and he slides out of there. And he's injured by glass fragments, but he backs out enough without hitting anything to get out of range, at least accurate range, and Tyler decides time to go. Tyler gets in his car, and he drives around all night, or I should say all morning, in the dark, aimlessly. He ends up going to this house of an acquaintance or maybe friends 6-7 miles north of here in Argonne, little small town, and there's a house and a cabin and like their place, and it's Mike and Mary Kegley. He finds them, and I think they were with their 4 boys. I think there were 6 of them total there when he came. He had his Glock, it was probably a service revolver, in his waistband. He's dressed civilian, and he comes in, and the next thing you know, it's kind of somewhat of a hostage situation. They already know what had happened and on the lookout, so they're just like trying to calm him down. And of course they all knew each other, but I guess Tyler was not in the killing mood still, and maybe he finally realized what the heck he had done and confused, and they're just like biding their time now. Mike Kegley sneaks off somehow. He makes a 911 call. He quickly says, hey, the Tyler guy's here. Quickly, all forces are kind of on their way. There would be 4 911 calls, and I think Tyler was kind of aware of it, and in one of them, I know Mary made one of the big calls, and she's like, hey, just don't send the cavalry up here. Keep it calm. We got our boys here. We don't want this guy to explode, right? And of course they said no, but in the meantime, 15 minutes later, you got to give them credit, they had the SWAT team there, and they had the place covered from the first call. So I think it went to about noon, and it was kind of a stalemate, and Tyler decided it was time to make a break. Didn't shoot anybody, and he got out and he got into the woods there. And I don't know if he was laying down or whatever, but he was still or hiding, and the sniper had a bead on him, and the sniper shot him in the shoulder or the arm, into his breast, I think. It didn't kill him. And then they found out, they thought the sniper killed him, but then they found out after the fact that he indeed had then taken his own life. He took his Glock twice to the chin, and if you can believe it, he probably just obviously didn't get up to his brain, but he still had the presence of mind or the strength and insanity to then put the gun to his head and shoot himself, take himself out, which is just crazy, hard to believe. But that's where the story, the siege, that's where everything ended now. So you have 6 kids down. Really sad. You have Jordan Murray, who was younger. She was only 18 years old. She was a senior at the school. You have Katrina Lee Tink McCorkle. Tink was her nickname. She was 17. She was a senior. She was the one who was in front of the closet. Leanna Faye Thomas, 17, was a senior. She was the one in the closet. Lindsay Lou Stahl was 14 years old. She was a freshman, and she was on the couch with Aaron Edward Smith. They called him Chunk. He was 20 years old, 2005 graduate, along with Bradley Stephen Schultz, who was also 20, also a 2005 graduate, all from Crandon High School here. Just unbelievable. And that is the group. Now, Charlie Neitzel was in the hospital for quite a while. High school students and friends would come to visit him and cheer him up, and he was discharged on October 17, 2007. Hopefully Charlie is doing well today. Now, less than a year, I think it was in June of 2008, they demolished that house. No one was going to live there. That house is gone. And a short time later, around that time, interestingly, the family, some of the families, I don't know if it was all the families, but a group, they filed a lawsuit against the police department, the government, alleging that Tyler didn't have the training, he wasn't checked out for mental stableness, etc., etc. And unbelievably, the judge, or maybe not unbelievably, the judge threw the case out, but unbelievably to me, then he went and turned around and charged the families or the group $21,000 in court costs, which I can only take to believe that meant, hey, this was a frivolous case you brought, so you gotta pay our, the state's legal or the city's legal expenses. I don't know, but that seemed really out in left field. But judges are judges. You get good ones, you get bad ones, and that's your decision. Maybe you're going to disagree with me and say, at least the case should have been heard. That's my opinion. They may not have been right, but that's the story, guys. The victims. We're going to walk to Jordan's grave. The other victims are all here, and I visited their graves. But we're going to video. I'm going to walk over to Jordan's grave, which is right over here, and we'll pay our final respects right over here. So serene here today, guys. So this is Jordan's grave right here. And it is a beautiful stone. Let's take a look. Then we'll talk a little bit about Jordan and some of the others. So our family chain is broken, and nothing seems the same, but as God calls us one by one, the chain will link again. Perhaps they are not stars. Perhaps they are not stars in the sky, but rather openings where our loved ones shine down to let us know they are happy. So there you see the infamous date of October 7th, 2007. Jordan was born July 25th, 1989. And there is a nice etching in color, I might add, of Jordan. Jordan brought us laughter and left us love. Jordan Michelle Murray. So there it is. I'm going to leave a rose as I do here. So a little bit about Jordan. It was described in her Find a Grave link that she was a very wonderful person, a good writer who played sports. She loved children and hoped to be a daycare provider. And she was the nicest girl you'd ever want to meet. Now, I did look for information on Liana Faye Thomas, 17, who was also a senior. I could not find anything, along with Lindsay Lou Stahl, the 14-year-old freshman who was in the living room with the two boys, the 20-year-olds. Lindsay's mother did a TV news interview I saw on YouTube, but I really didn't get anything out about her. But Katrina Lee Tink McCorkle, the senior, they say that Katrina loved playing softball and her family meant everything to her. Now, there was a lot of I wouldn't say a lot of information, but more information about Aaron and Bradley, who again were on the sofa on the couch there when Tyler burst in. So Aaron Edward Smith, he was 20, 2005 graduate. They called him Chunk. By his friends, he was also 2005 graduate here of Crandon High. He loved football. He's a football player and loved fishing. And he helped the Crandon High School football team to its first playoff in his senior year, so he was a football star. And then Bradley Stephen Schultz, 20, also a 2005 graduate. He was down at the University of Wisconsin student there when came back up here for the homecoming. His younger brother was still here at Crandon High School. And I looked up that Brandon's uncle said a few words. He said he was a hardworking kid and he never got into any trouble. And ironically, and I say ironically, he was earning a degree in criminal justice and he wanted to be a police detective. Wow. It's a hard story, guys, but they're brave kids. There's a gazebo here in town that memorializes all the kids, the etchings at the Veterans Park, and I'm going to go see if I can find that. And I just got to say, I hope Charlie Neitzel is doing okay, and to the parents, my condolences, our condolences. It's a never-ending pain, I know, firsthand. A child killed my own violently, and all I can say is hang in there, and I believe we will all be reunited someday. So let's pray and hope for that. And that's going to end my visit here in Crandon, the beautiful town. And may these children all rest in peace. Here is the gazebo, but it's not at the Veterans Park. It's actually in its own location. This is the corner of Washington and Hazeldale. It's a block off the main street there. And we're kitty corner to the post office if you want to come see it. Lovely bench here, dedicated to Katrina Tink, her nickname. But yeah, let's go take a look inside. And it looks like, yeah, there's benches for all the kids, the young people here, with their names on it. Isn't that great? beautiful fountain here in the middle. And yes, I see on the columns, each column, a dedication. So this is Leanna Faye Thomas. And it says a smile that never quits, and oh, your infectious laugh. You wanted to be and do so many things. A vet, a singer, a nurse, or a music teacher. You were going to college and not have any kids, or maybe you're going into the military or have lots of kids. We all miss you so. We know you are watching over us. We feel you in times of need. Dear Leanna, we never got to say goodbye, but we know that we will all be together again. That is beautiful. Katrina Lee McCorkle, Tink was her name. She was a senior at high school, planning a career in early childhood development. She loved children, animals, movies, and the outdoors. Above all came family. She had the sweetest smile, very loving and kind and gentle. She said, "Why can't we be nice and get along? Why can't everyone be nice and get along?" Missed and loved by all of her family and friends. There is Bradley Schultz. Third year, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, majoring in criminal justice. Yeah. Homicide detective he was going to be. Special young man. He was loving, caring, outgoing, considerate, always there to lend a helping hand with a smile and a bounce in his step. He enjoyed the outdoors, hunting, fishing, snowmobiling, four-wheeling, and watching off-road racing. He touched so many lives. He knew where he came from. He knew where he was going in life. Yeah. The eyes of a go-getter. He's a good boy. Just like Aaron here and the rest. So sad. Aaron Edward Chunk Smith. Let's see if we can get out of the glare here. There's that's the best I can do. He was a true outdoorsman who enjoyed hunting and fishing. His family and friends knew him as the kind of person who always was there to lend a hand. He had a contagious belly laugh and a loving, caring, gentle personality, which everyone knew so well. His passion for off-road racing and his career as a welder landed him a job with an off-road race team. He was part of a big family. And we believe he would have been a great dad one day. He loved life and was thankful to God for everything that he had. Lindsay Lou Stahl. So young, guys, just a freshman. Lindsay was a high school freshman who loved life, family, and friends. She was cherished by all. She had a sweet and caring personality. She was a vegetarian that cared about animal rights and environmental issues. Lindsay. And of course, lastly, Jordan Michelle Murray. You may not think a perfect child ever could exist, but we had one. Her name was Jordan. That topped the perfect list. Her beauty and her love shone through. Her kindness and forgiveness grew. Priorities for family and friends were true. It all rubbed off on us, you know. Our job now is to let that show. There's not a day that goes by without thoughts of you. Loved and sadly missed by so many. Jordan Michelle Murray. May all these angels rest in peace.